Men obsess over women who do this. Confidence is magnetic. Stop waiting for permission to take up space. Walk in like you own the room and watch how they notice. Unapologetic authenticity. Men are drawn to women who know who they are. No pretending. No performing. Just you. Emotional independence. You don't need a man, you choose one. That's power. That's what makes you irresistible. Boundaries like a queen. When you respect yourself, they respect you more. The second you lower your standards, you lose your power. Mysterious, but not playing games. Give them a little to chase, but not because you're manipulating, because you have a life. Kindness with an edge, sweet, but not a pushover. Loving, but with self-respect. That balance, it drives them crazy in the best way. Playfulness and unpredictability. Routine is boring. A woman who keeps life exciting and fun. That's the woman they can't stop thinking about. Ambition and passion. You have goals, dreams, something you're working toward. That's sexy. That makes a man want to step up. High value energy. It's not about looks. It's about the energy you bring. Act like you're the prize, and suddenly you are. You're not waiting for love, you're living. The second you stop chasing, that's when the right one starts chasing you. Final thought. The most attractive thing about you is how you carry yourself. You are the main character. Own it. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about knowing deep in your bones that you belong there. It's about walking into any space and owning your presence, not because someone told you to, but because you decided to. Most people are waiting for permission, waiting for someone to validate them, waiting to feel ready. But confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build by showing up even when you don't feel like it. You know that moment when someone walks in and without saying a word, they command attention? That's not an accident. That's energy. That's self-belief radiating off of them. They don't shrink. They don't fidget. They move like they are exactly where they're supposed to be. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear doesn't get to run the show. Your heart might be racing, your hands might shake, but you show up anyway, you speak up anyway, you take up space anyway. Stop making yourself small. Stop downplaying your intelligence, your ambition, your voice. You don't need to be the most beautiful, the most talented, or the most experienced person in the room. You just need to believe that you have value, because the second you do, everyone else will too. The world mirrors back what you put out. If you walk in like you don't deserve to be there, people will believe it. If you walk in like you own the damn place, they'll believe that too. Confidence is a habit. It's built through action. The more you challenge yourself, the more you realize you can handle. And that's when everything shifts. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop over-explaining. You start trusting that you are enough, exactly as you are. People are drawn to certainty. Not arrogant certainty. The quiet, unshakable kind that says, I know who I am, and I don't need anyone's approval to be her. You want to stand out. You want to be unforgettable. Walk in like you have nothing to prove and everything to offer. Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how people lean in. The moment you stop waiting for permission to take up space is the moment you become unstoppable. Most people spend their lives trying to be what they think others want. They shapeshift, filter, and edit themselves to fit in. But here's the truth. Real confidence comes from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to apologize for it. Men don't fall for perfection. They fall for real. The quirks, the passion, the fire. The woman who laughs too loud, who says what she means, who isn't afraid to take up space. That's the kind of energy they can't ignore. You don't need to be everything to everyone. That's exhausting. And the second you start pretending, you lose yourself. The most attractive thing about you, it's not your looks. It's not how well you can play a role. It's the fact that you fully, completely, unapologetically. When you stop trying to impress and start showing up as your true self, something incredible happens. The right people come closer. The wrong people fade away. And that's exactly what you want. You don't need someone who likes the idea of you. You need someone who wants the real you. Authenticity is power. It tells the world, I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here to be me. That kind of energy, it's rare, it's bold, and it's magnetic. Trying to be cool or chill or whatever you think they want, that's exhausting. But when you own your weirdness, your intensity, your soft heart, whatever makes you you, that's when people can't get enough. The right man doesn't want a woman who shrinks herself to fit into his life. He wants a woman who is already full, a woman who knows what she wants, what she deserves, and who she is. Stop apologizing for your opinions. Stop dialing yourself down. The moment you stop caring about being too much is the moment you become unforgettable. There is nothing sexier than a woman who is so secure in herself that she doesn't flinch when someone doesn't like her. That kind of confidence, that kind of certainty, it's rare. It's addictive. And it's exactly what makes you stand out. The most beautiful thing you can be is real. No pretending, no performing, just you. Needing someone and choosing someone are two completely different things. When you need a man to feel whole, to feel worthy, to feel secure, that's not love. That's dependency. But when you choose a man from a place of strength, from a place of knowing you're already enough, that's where real attraction begins. Confidence comes from knowing that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that your happiness, your peace, your self-worth are not tied to anyone else. When a woman operates from that mindset, she becomes magnetic because she's not chasing, she's not clinging, and she's not afraid to walk away. Men are drawn to women who are whole on their own. A woman who doesn't need validation because she validates herself. A woman who doesn't need attention because she's already focused on her own life. That kind of independence, it's rare. It's rare. And it commands respect. When you are emotionally independent, you don't settle. You don't tolerate half-hearted love or inconsistent effort. You have standards not because you're difficult, but because you know your worth. That kind of self-respect makes the right man step up and makes the wrong one step out. A woman who needs a man will bend herself to fit into his life. A woman who chooses a man will only be with him if he adds to her life. That shift in mindset changes everything. You stop worrying about whether he likes you and start asking yourself, do I even like him? Emotional independence means you can enjoy love without losing yourself in it. You can be vulnerable without being dependent. You can care deeply without sacrificing your peace. That balance, it's what keeps a relationship strong. A man shouldn't be your emotional oxygen. He should be the cherry on top of a life you already love. If you make him your entire world, you give away your power. But when you have your own passions, your own dreams, your own happiness, that's when he respects and admires you the most. Nothing is more attractive than a woman who wants a man but doesn't need one. She's not afraid to walk away if she isn't treated right. She knows she'll be fine on her own because she's built a life that fulfills her. Men know the difference. They can feel it. A woman who is emotionally independent carries herself differently. She doesn't play games, she doesn't beg for attention, and she doesn't tolerate nonsense. That kind of energy, it makes them obsess. The most powerful position you can be in, being so secure in yourself that no man can make or break you. You don't need saving. You're already whole. And that is what makes you absolutely irresistible. Boundaries are not walls. They're not ultimatums. They are the clearest form of self-respect. They tell the world, this is what I accept. This is what I don't. And if you can't meet that, you can't meet me. A woman who has boundaries is a woman who knows her worth. She doesn't let people walk all over her. She doesn't tolerate half-hearted love. She doesn't make excuses for bad behavior. She knows that the second she lowers her standards, she teaches people how to treat her, and she refuses to teach them the wrong lesson. Men respect women who respect themselves. If you don't enforce your own boundaries, don't be surprised when someone crosses them. People will push limits. They will test what they can get away with, but when you stand firm, when you show them that you mean what you say, that's when they take you seriously. Boundaries don't scare off the right man. They filter out the wrong ones. The men who are intimidated by your standards were never going to meet them. The ones who respect your limits. The ones who step up instead of stepping back. That's the level you deserve. When you say no, mean it. When you say, I won't tolerate that, follow through. Boundaries are only as strong as your ability to enforce them. A man will respect a woman who is consistent, who doesn't waver, who doesn't let emotions override her self-worth. Love should never come at the cost of your dignity. If you have to beg, chase, or convince someone to treat you right, you're already losing yourself. The second you start accepting less than what you deserve, you give away your power. And once it's gone, it's hard to get back. A woman with boundaries is rare because most people are too afraid to set them. They fear being too much. They fear pushing someone away. But the truth? A strong woman doesn't push away the right man. She just makes it impossible for the wrong one to stay. Respect yourself first and watch how everything shifts. Men are drawn to women who won't let them get away with nonsense, who expect effort, who expect consistency, because deep down they know that's the kind of woman worth keeping. The moment you start saying, "This is my standard and I refuse to lower it," is the moment you become unshakable. You hold the power. You set the tone. And they either step up or step out. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who knows her worth and refuses to negotiate it. That's the kind of energy that turns heads. That's the kind of presence they can't ignore. And that's exactly why they obsess over you. There's a difference between being mysterious and playing games. Playing games is manipulation. It's pretending to be unavailable when you're not, holding back affection to make them want you more, or creating drama just to get attention. That's insecurity, not power. True mystery. It's effortless. It's when you don't reveal everything all at once because you're genuinely too busy living your life to make someone the center of your universe. You're not withholding, you just have more going on than waiting for their next text. Men are wired to chase, but they don't chase just anyone, they chase what feels valuable. And value isn't in how hard you play hard to get. It's in how much you love your own life, how much purpose you have, and how much you don't need them to fill a void. You become mysterious when you don't over-explain yourself, when you don't rush to prove your worth, when you're comfortable not being fully known right away. A confident woman lets a man wonder about her, not because she's hiding something, but because she doesn't feel the need to be an open book from day one. Being mysterious isn't about keeping secrets, it's about unfolding naturally. When you drop everything to be available 24/7, you don't give them a reason to wonder about you. But when your time is valuable, when you have passions, when you don't just wait for them, that's when curiosity kicks in. Men don't obsess over what's predictable. They're drawn to a woman who surprises them not with mind games, but with the simple fact that she's not like the rest. She's confident in her own world, and she's not trying to force a connection. You don't have to post cryptic messages. You don't have to ignore calls just to seem unavailable. The real secret. Just have a life, have your own goals, have things you're working on. When a man sees that you're not dependent on his attention, he wants to give it to you even more. Being a mystery isn't about being cold or distant. It's about not rushing intimacy. Let things build naturally. Let them put in effort. Give just enough for them to want more, but never so much that they take you for granted. A woman who has her own passions, her own interests, her own sense of self, that's the woman men can't stop thinking about. She's intriguing because she's complete, and that's exactly what makes her irresistible. The moment you stop proving yourself and start being yourself is the moment they lean in, because they can sense that you're different. And that's the kind of mystery they can't walk away from. Kindness is powerful, but only when it's paired with self-respect. Too many women think they have to be either soft and nurturing or strong and unbreakable. The truth, the most magnetic women are both. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean saying yes when you want to say no. It doesn't mean tolerating disrespect just to keep the peace. Real kindness is choosing to be compassionate, not letting people walk all over you. Men love a woman who is warm, generous, and loving, but what really makes them obsessed? A woman who knows when to walk away. A woman who gives, but only to those who deserve it. A woman who loves deeply, but never at the cost of her dignity. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who is kind to everyone, but doesn't take nonsense from anyone. She's graceful, but she holds people accountable. She's patient, but she won't tolerate excuses. She's loving, but she'll leave the second she's not valued. Sweetness without strength gets taken for granted. Strength without softness can feel intimidating. The balance of both. That's irresistible. A woman who can uplift, nurture, and support, but also set boundaries and stand her ground. That's a woman people don't forget. Some women mistake kindness for approval seeking. They think if they're always nice, always available, always accommodating, they'll be loved more. But the truth, men don't respect a woman who overgives at her own expense. They respect a woman who chooses when and where to give. You don't have to be rude to be respected. You don't have to be cold to be strong. The power is in grace with backbone, in knowing when to be soft and when to be firm, in being kind, but never at the cost of your standards. A woman with kindness and an edge is unpredictable. She's affectionate, but only when it's earned. She's fun, but she won't be taken lightly. That contrast, it keeps men on their toes. It keeps them intrigued because they know they have to step up to deserve her. When a woman carries herself with both warmth and unwavering self-respect, she creates a standard. Men know they can't half love her, they can't play games. They either treat her right or they lose her, and that's why they obsess over her. Real power isn't in being the toughest woman in the room. It's in knowing you could be, but choosing when to be. Kindness with an edge. That's the energy that makes you unforgettable. Men don't obsess over predictable. They don't dream about the woman who does the same thing, says the same things, and reacts the same way every time. They crave excitement. They crave the woman who keeps them guessing, not with games, but with energy, spontaneity, and fun. There's something electric about a woman who knows how to play, who teases, who laughs, who brings out that boyish side of a man that he doesn't show to just anyone. That kind of lightness, it's rare. It's addictive. It makes them crave being around you. Routine is comfortable, but it's also the fastest way to kill attraction. When every date feels the same, when every conversation is predictable, when nothing surprises him, he stops feeling that spark. The woman who breaks the pattern, she's unforgettable. Playfulness is flirty confidence. It's not taking things too seriously. It's making fun of him in a way that makes him want to prove himself to you. It's knowing when to throw out a challenge, when to lean in and then pull back, when to keep things light while still keeping him hooked. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean emotional roller coasters. It means a woman who is full of life, who suggests a spontaneous road trip, who sends a teasing text instead of a boring good morning, who isn't afraid to try something new just to see what happens. Men fall hard for women who make them feel. And nothing makes a man feel more alive than a woman who surprises him, who keeps things fresh, who brings adventure into the ordinary. Being fun doesn't mean being childish. It means you don't overthink, you don't stress about every word. You're not walking on eggshells trying to be perfect. You're present, you're engaged. You're enjoying yourself, and that energy, it's contagious. Most women try to impress a man by being agreeable, polite, and predictable. The woman who stands out. She's the one who challenges him to a game, who playfully disagrees, who throws in a little sarcasm, who makes him laugh until his stomach hurts. He can find beauty anywhere. He can find ambition anywhere. But a woman who makes him feel like life is an adventure, that's a once-in-a-lifetime connection. That's the woman who stays on his mind. Be the woman who brings energy, who keeps things fresh, who makes him excited just to see what happens next. Because when a man never knows what fun, flirty, and unexpected thing you'll do next, he'll never stop chasing you. There's nothing more magnetic than a woman who is on a mission. A woman who wakes up with purpose, who has something she's chasing, who isn't just sitting around waiting for a relationship to complete her. That kind of energy, it's irresistible. Men are drawn to passion, not just romantic passion, but life passion. They can feel it when a woman is lit up from the inside, when she talks about her dreams, when she's excited about what she's building, when she's got something that fuels her beyond just a relationship. Confidence doesn't come from being desired. It comes from doing things that matter to you. When a woman has her own goals, her own vision, her own fire, she automatically carries herself differently. And men can't help but notice. A woman who is going somewhere in life makes a man want to keep up. She challenges him without even trying. She inspires him to be better, to do more, to level up just by being around her. That's the kind of woman who leaves an impact. When you have your own ambitions, you don't settle for just any man. You don't need someone to complete you. You're already complete. And that makes him want to earn a place in your life, not because you need him, but because you choose him. Men love the chase, but what they really crave is a challenge that matters. And nothing is more challenging than a woman who has high standards for herself. A woman who doesn't just float through life, but builds something meaningful. The most attractive energy you can have. Focused determination, not obsession over a man. Not waiting around for someone to text you back, but the drive to create, to grow, to make things happen. That kind of energy makes a man sit up and pay attention. When you're passionate about something, you don't come off as desperate. You're not looking for a man to give you purpose because you already have it. And that's the mindset that keeps you in control of your own happiness. A strong man doesn't want a woman he has to carry. He wants a woman who's already running towards something great. And when he sees that, he doesn't just admire her, he wants to run right alongside her. Ambition isn't just sexy. It's a statement. It says, I'm building my own life. Are you strong enough to keep up? And trust me, that's the kind of woman a man never forgets. Energy is everything. It walks into the room before you do. It speaks before you say a word. And the women who men obsess over, they radiate something rare, high-value energy. This has nothing to do with looks. It's not about being the prettiest woman in the room. It's about the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you hold your head high, not because you're arrogant, but because you know your worth. A woman who sees herself as the prize doesn't chase. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't sit around waiting for someone to pick her. She chooses. And that shift in mindset, that's what makes men chase her. The second you start treating yourself like someone valuable, people start treating you that way too. If you move through life with an energy that says, I belong in this room, I deserve the best, I don't settle, guess what? The world responds. Men feel the difference between a woman who is hoping to be chosen and a woman who knows she's a catch. They are wired to pursue what feels valuable, and nothing feels more valuable than a woman who holds herself to a high standard. Think of the women you admire. The ones who own a room without trying. The ones who don't need to be the loudest, but somehow everyone notices them. That's not about perfection. That's presence. That's self-assurance. High-value energy is knowing you deserve love, but never needing it to feel whole. It's being open, but never desperate. It's being kind, but never a pushover. That balance. It makes a man work harder to be in your world. When you act like the prize, you attract men who treat you like one. You don't settle for half-hearted effort. You don't accept bare minimum. And when a man senses that he has to earn you, he steps up or he steps out. Either way, you win. Confidence is not about proving yourself. It's about knowing you don't have to. It's about understanding that your value isn't in how much someone else wants you. It's in how much you value yourself. I want to be the woman he can't stop thinking about. Walk like you're rare. Talk like you're rare. Believe that you're rare. Because when you do, that's exactly how they'll see you. Love is never the goal. Living is. The women who men can't stop thinking about aren't the ones sitting around waiting for a relationship to complete them. They're the ones too busy loving their own life to worry about who's coming or going. There's a shift that happens when you stop chasing, when you stop overthinking every text, every call, every sign. When you stop treating love like a finish line and start treating it like a bonus. That shift, it changes everything. Men are wired to pursue, but they don't chase women who are chasing them. They chase women who are too busy being amazing to notice if they're watching. They chase the energy of a woman who is already fulfilled, already thriving, already happy on her own. Desperation repels, but a woman who is at peace, who is in love with her own life, who radiates joy even when she's single. That woman is magnetic, she's rare, and men will do anything to be a part of her world. The moment you let go of the need for someone to validate you, become unshakable. You start making choices for yourself, not for attention. You start living for you, not for whether or not he's paying attention. And ironically, that's exactly when they start paying attention. A high-value woman doesn't wait around. She doesn't pause her life in hopes that someone will come along. She's too busy growing, too busy exploring, too busy building something incredible to sit and wonder when love will happen. And that energy, it's intoxicating. The truth is, when you're obsessed with your own life, you become irresistible because you have a glow that no relationship can give you. A confidence that doesn't come from a man, it comes from knowing you are enough with or without one. When you stop chasing, you allow the right man to step up. The one who chooses you, not out of convenience, but because he sees your worth. The one who isn't intimidated by your strength, but inspired by it. Love isn't something you wait for, it's something that finds you while you're living. And the second you truly understand that, that's the moment the right one starts chasing you. Here's the truth, men don't obsess over looks, they obsess over energy. They don't chase perfection, they chase presence. A woman who owns her confidence, sets her standards high, and lives with passion. That's the woman they can't get out of their minds. The second you stop seeking validation and start embodying value, everything shifts. You stop wondering why he's pulling away because you're too focused on your own happiness. You stop questioning if you're enough because you know you are, and that mindset, that's the game changer. Men crave women who bring something real to the table, not just beauty, but depth. Not just kindness, but boundaries. Not just excitement, but a sense of self. When you're fully you unapologetically and confidently, the right man doesn't just want you, he fights to keep you. But the most powerful thing, you don't need to be obsessed over. You don't need to be chased to be valuable. Your worth was never tied to a man's attention. It was always yours to own. The second you step into that truth, the world starts responding differently to you. So stop waiting, stop chasing, start living. Because the real magic, it happens when you're so busy loving your own life that the right man can't help but run to catch up. And when he does, he knows he's found something rare.